know how I got on Book Talk, but that's where I've been this past week, so I decided to run with it and make something in the fantasy realm. And because I'm in the mood to try something new, we are making a brand new pattern for our big-chested individuals. A fun little tip for working with a pattern like this is you want to sew them wrong sides together, so that way your boning channel hides any excess seam allowance. Oh, I guess it's time for a corgi break. The bodice came together really quickly before it was time to add the millions of embellishments, including these handmade flowers that I then went ahead and added rhinestones to. It was then time to hand sew those bad boys on and then gather down and attach the frilly pink skirt. And this is what we came up with, this beautiful dress. I hope you guys love it. I had so much fun making it, and yeah, bye! Sometimes the inspiration for making a dress can be really obscure. For example, my only inspiration for this dress was that it had to billow out when it ran through a field. Originally, the plan was to do something historical, but when the fabric got here, it spoke to me in a more modern way. I absolutely adore the stripes on the silk, so I wanted to make sure they lined up on the skirt, and it took me a couple tries before I finally got it right. So of course, the corgi break was well deserved. The whole skirt ended up being about 7 yards, so it's no surprise why this dress became one of my favorites, and I hope you guys love her too. We are revisiting the Zodiac sign dresses because after a year of sewing, I feel like I could do a better job on them. Now this series will roll out slowly and over time because I want to dedicate enough research and time to making sure I get each sign correct. I am starting with Capricorn today because it is my own sign and it's Capricorn season, so I figured it would be a good place to start. I am doing a scale mail corset in this midnight blue with a tulle skirt because I think that represents us really well. We can't forget a corgi break. It was then time to lace it up really tight. This is probably my favorite look, and I hope you guys love her. Like everyone else, I too have been obsessed with Bridgerton lately, and so it wasn't really hard to find the inspiration to do a cherry blossom Regency gown. For people who are just getting into sewing, a Regency gown is really beginner friendly and translates well into a modern look. We can't forget our corgi break. I decided for this look to take my inspiration from Daphne Bridgerton, who, while she wasn't my favorite character, I really loved her outfits. I really loved how poofy her sleeves were, so I made sure to include that in my own look, and of course to include that satin ribbon. And here she is, my Bridgerton-inspired look. I've been sitting on this fabric for a while, so I thought it was time to make something. And originally it was inspired by like a sugar plum fairy look using this pink silk, but it kind of evolved out of there once I got Rosie off the fabric, of course. I went with a pattern that I know pretty well, but I haven't done in a long time because I've been feeling like a lack of inspiration lately, so it was kind of important to do something familiar and that I enjoyed. There is no extravagant boning to this, and I ended up doing my puffy sleeves because I thought that would look nice. Somebody said as I was working on this that it reminded them of those circus cookie snacks we had as kids, and once I started working on it, I couldn't unsee that. This is where I thought I wanted to stop, but the next morning I decided to add some bows, and it turned out really cute, and I'm really happy with it, even if it reminds me of those circus cookies. The Scorpio dress design is about as fluid to me as Scorpios are to their own sign. And while this beaded fabric is absolutely gorgeous, it ended up being really difficult to work with, and I had to remove beads before I was even able to stitch the pieces together. So of course we had a corgi break. It had been a while since I'd done anything with foam cups, so it took a little bit to get the hang of again, but it did end up coming out really nice. For the skirt, I went ahead and did something I've never done before, but I think this drapey off the hip look worked really well for Scorpio, and I hope you guys loved how she came out.